With that note, Lieutenant Governor Sheila Simon, Mayor Dan DeMaria, Honorable Lou Lang, Matthew and Lovely, Reverend Daniel Thomas, Alderman Mayor Power is not here, he is also trying to get here. Alderman Jim Brockman, Mr. Raja Krishnamurthy, Ms. Angela Abramoit, Scott Lightis, Mr. Sal Brustral, Mr. Ira Robbins, dear Achans, pastors, media friends, Pravin Council members, ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome. Let me start with saying thank you to all of you for your overwhelming support and help for Pravin's family and the Action Council. We are here with the mixed emotions. Pravin left us a year ago. Investigation are still going on. We are eagerly waiting for some light at the end of the tunnel. Today we have some powerful political leaders are here. No, they are all working with us, with the Action Council and Pravin's family to find justice for Pravin. As Pravin's mother, Lovely, it's all inspiration to all of us. She's pretty much leading the group. She always say this word, this fight is not just for Pravin, but for all the parents. This kind of incident should not happen to any family. With that note, let me start welcoming our distinguished guests. Congressman Danny Davis is one of the powerful senator from Illinois. He'll be here any minute. I'll welcome when he gets here. Next is our Lieutenant Governor Sheila Simon. She don't need any introduction. She's a dear friend of Indian community. She was with us during the very first memorial service in this church and helped us a lot with this investigation. She was also a professor, a law professor in SIU, and I heard you all know her. I heard she's going to run again in 2016. So if that's the case, we have to support her. I don't know, she said, I'll let you know later, but she's going to be running. So if that's the case, we have to support her. Please welcome Sheila Simon. Next is kind of surprised, Honorable Lou Lang is one of the powerful political leader in Illinois politics. He's here. First I thought his secretary going to be here. One of his office members going to be here, Josina Morita. So I'd love to see him today. He's the deputy majority leader of Illinois General Assembly. Please welcome Mr. Lou Lang to the meeting. We all know Morton Grove Mayor Dan DeMaria as big supporter of Pravin's family. A few months back, he called a news conference in Morton Grove to show support for Pravin. We are delighted to have him today, and please welcome Mr. Dan DeMaria. Amaya Pawar also texted me he's trying his best to be here. He's also running for his re-election. His re-election is on February 24th, and also he said his mom's birthday is today. So let's hope he will be here soon. I have only 3 minutes, so because of the time constraint, I'm going to go fast with our distinguished guest. We have Alderman Jim Brooksman here of Des Plaines. Then our own Raja Krishnamurthy. He's a former Illinois Deputy Controller, and I heard the rumor he is also running for U.S. Congress from the 8th District. Love to see our own Raja is here. If that's the case, we have to support him. Pravin's drama teacher is here, Angela Abramoit. And also Scott Litz, he's representing Congressman Bob Dole, is here. Welcome. Mr. Sal Rastrali and Ira Robinson from Archangels of Justice, they are here. And did I miss anybody? Friend Jimmy Wachachara is here. He's our attorney doing all the counsel. Please, I'm also welcoming him to this event. And very important is all our respected agents and pastors are here. Thank you all for coming. Your prayers and support is big for Pravin's family. And to the Action Council, thank you. Thank you so much for coming. Okay. Mark from Colonial Funeral Home here. Thank you, Mark, for coming. And several of our media friends are here. NBC is here, ABC is here, WGN is here, Kairali TV is here, several of the Malayalam media folks are here, and also several Univision is here, and several North Indian media is here as well. I welcome all of you to this event also. Next is because they are the most important portion of the whole event. You know, if the media is not covering, then we are nowhere. This whole Action Council is dead. So thank you for coming. Next is Pravin Action Council. They worked so hard for the last 1 year with the family, and hosted several events, including one in Carbondale. There was a huge event. Carbondale mayor was there, so we gave 50,000 signatures to the Carbondale mayor, and applaud Pravin Action Council members. All the community leaders are here, several association members, several church members, several church office bearers, all here. And Pravin's family, of course, and relatives are here, and also all my dear friends from different churches and temples, and from different part of Indian community. I welcome you all on behalf of Pravin's family and the Pravin's Action Council. May Pravin's memory may be an inspiration and blessings to all of us. Thank you all.
Next, we will have our cousin Sumit speak a few words about Pravin.
My name is Sumit and I'm Chatai's cousin. Chatai was more like a big brother to me than a cousin. He has given me so many childhood memories that are just unforgettable. He would do anything in his power to make you laugh. No matter how embarrassing it is, he would always say YOLO. Chatai made me realize that I have to enjoy life to the fullest and not get upset. Every time we got into an argument, he would act like nothing happened in 5 minutes. He taught me that you can never hold a grudge, otherwise you would get nowhere in life. There aren't enough words to describe what an amazing character he was. To me, he was my role model, my hero, my mentor, and so much more. We grew up together since the day I was born, and I never felt like an only child. One of my favorite memories with Chatai was Mission Impossible. It all started with my 8th grade graduation 2 years ago. After the ceremony, we all gathered together at my house to celebrate. We talked and laughed and played games. As everyone began to leave, Chatai came to me and said that I should sleep over. I told him that I would have to think about it for a couple minutes. Chechi then said she would make me brownies if I came over. That's when I decided to come over after Chatai begged me. As we got to their house, everyone fell asleep except for Chechi, Chatai, and I, since Preeti had school the next day. Chatai and I played his Xbox until 3 a.m., playing our favorite game, Halo. After that, I asked Chechi why she didn't make the brownies she had promised. She said there were no eggs. That's when Chatai got up and said, Sumit, grab the car keys, we're going to Walmart. This became the creation of Mission Impossible. As the three of us tiptoed to the front door, we told Chechi to stay behind because we needed someone to open and close the door without making any noise. We knew the parents would get angry about this if they ever found out, so we had to be quiet and precise. We got outside and Chatai said that we had to open and close the doors silently so we wouldn't get caught. When we got into the car, Chatai took out his phone and made a Snapchat video saying, "I'm Agent P and this is my partner, Agent S. We're on our mission to buy the eggs for the brownies." When he was done making the video, he called this mission impossible. We got to Walmart and there was no one there except for 3 employees. We ran into the aisle that had the eggs and bought them. As we were approaching our destination, he told me to text Chechi saying T minus 5 minutes, which was the wrong code. Chechi texted me back and said, "No, you're sleeping. You can sleep in the car with Gassy." I showed Chata the text and I told her to open the door already. When she opened the front door, we had to repeat the same thing with the car doors, except we had to run as fast as we could. When we got inside, Chechi started making brownies and the 2 of us started playing Halo again. I eventually fell asleep and Chata ate the entire tray of brownies without giving me any. And he said they were good. During our last winter break together, there was a Mission Impossible 2, which was the last one. This time I stayed up long enough to get my share of the cookies. This was one of the many adventures we had together that gave me the thrill of my life. There were some points where we stayed up until 8 in the morning playing video games and got only a 10-minute sleep. It's moments like these that I will never forget. I miss having our WWE matches, ordering pizza at 2 in the morning, your funny catchphrases and your nicknames for everyone, and so on. Chata is my inspiration, and I know that he's safe in the hands of our Lord. Thank you.
Thank you, Sumit. Next, we're going to have Tony Shajan, our other cousin.
Thank you guys for joining us today. My name is Tony, and I'm one of Bava's cousins. My memories with Bava are unforgettable. The last time I saw Bava was on Christmas, and while everyone left at 11 p.m., we stayed longer together. We stayed until 3 or 4 a.m. It was me, Ashley, my little brother Sony, and Sonny. We stayed till 4 o'clock playing video games. We talked about life, just everything what cousins do. We just hung out and had a good time. For me, Bava taught me never give up on anything that you believe in. If you want something, you have to go fight for it until you believe it's right and where you want to be. I could go on for days about how much this family loves Bava. He brought us closer together, and we wish you were still here with us physically, but we all know that you are still with us spiritually. Bava, even though that you're younger than me, I feel like you've taught me so many things in my life. You taught me to live life to the fullest and not to be afraid of anything. Bava, I really love you. We're all going to be here for you, and we love you.
Now I ask Jimmy Vachachira to come up.
Hello everyone. My name is Jimmy Vachachira. I'm one of the attorneys that's assisting the Varghese family and also a member of the Action Council. About a year ago, I received a phone call from Sunny Valikulam, and a few other leaders of our Malayali community, basically informing me that the community was putting together a meeting to see what we as a community could do to support and help the Varghese family. Now, I wasn't sure at that time what I could do because I'm a real estate attorney, but this happened to a family in our community, and we wanted to see if there was a way that we could somehow help. And at that meeting, I remember lovely Andy had the courage to stand up before all of us, lovely Varghese, and share her experiences with the Carbondale authorities. And one of those really stood out to me. And that experience was when Pravin's body was found. This family pled with the authorities to ask and see him, and the Carbondale authorities initially refused. And now what's even worse is that what they told the family was that they're going to send Pravin back to Chicago, and when he gets back to Chicago is when the family will be able to see him. Now that really got me going, and at that point I was all in, and so were my partners, and we were ready to help. We went to the family and told them we were ready to help however we could. Now, as many of you know, there was a second autopsy done, and as an attorney, I'm one of the few people that were able to personally see the pictures. And I can tell you firsthand how clearly you can see the bruise on Pravin's head, defensive wound on his arm, big bruise on his leg, and scratches throughout his body. And when I saw that, two emotions run through my veins. One, I was sad that this young man was really hurt before he passed away. And two, I was so angry that hours after the Carbondale authorities saw him, they came out and said, "No foul play suspected." And that's why, ladies and gentlemen, as an update, with our case, the first person that we're going to be deposing is the forensic pathologist who came out and assisted with that conclusion that there was no foul play. About a year ago, I sent a Freedom of Information request to Carbondale, and so did our private investigators, and so did our local attorney who was handling the lawsuit. Finally, about a year later, about a week ago, we received a letter from the state's attorney and also a personal phone call to our local attorney that said, "Hey, we're wrapping up. We're about to hand over the investigation." Now, we all know talk is cheap, but at least we got a phone call. Now, I think the family deserved, obviously, this phone call and this letter probably months after our initial request. So let's hope that the state's attorney is going to live up to his word. Now, this may not sound like a lot, but in a case like this is significant progress in a very, very short period of time. And we have to thank all of you, the people of our community, the media, for this. You all deserve the credit. And here we are a year later. You know, I have a feeling that when they came out and made this announcement of no foul play, I don't think they really expected 1 year later, this community still standing firmly and 100% in support of this family. And I really don't think they expected influential and amazing people like these individuals up here. Sheila Simon, Jan Chakowski, who's not here. Also Danny Davis, Bob Dole, Mayor Di Maria, Jim Brookman, Amaya Pawar, and many other people. These are influential people that are here just to let everyone know that they are supporting this family and their cause. And finally, I got a feeling that they didn't know, or they didn't think, that Pravin had two sisters, a father and a mother, whose only agenda in life now is justice for Pravin. So let's keep it going, and thank you again for all your support.
Next, I'm going to invite those wonderful sisters of Pravin, Priya and Preeti.
When I think about my brother, I always smile. His goofy smirk, his instant jokes, his wit, and his love for food are just a few of the memories I will carry with me forever. Pravin was always the goofball. He was always annoying me and always making Preeti cry. He always drove me and Preeti nuts, and we missed that. He did that because he knew at the end we would always end up laughing. He always made sure everyone around him was happy. Even though he is not physically here with us, our family still laughs about Pravin and all the things he did. He never took a day for granted, and he always lived life to the fullest. He never wasted time holding grudges and was always surrounded by people. I'm so proud of your big sister, Baba. I love you and I miss you. And I'll be closing up with a poem. It's called The Day God Called You Home. A million times I've needed you, a million times I've cried. If love alone could have saved you, you never would have died. In life, I loved you dearly. In death, I love you still. In my heart, you hold a place no one could ever fill. It broke my heart to lose you, but you didn't go alone. Part of me went with you the day God called you home. Until we meet again, Baba.
Hi, my name is Preeti Varghese, and I'm Pravin's little sister. And I can't even believe it's been 1 year. I can still remember our fights and how we would both constantly annoy each other. Even though we had our fights, he would always be there for me no matter what the reason was. I miss the fun and crazy times we had, from jumping to the bed from the dresser, and many more. We would always have lots of fun, even when my friends came over. We would play with your Nerf guns and run around until we got in trouble because we were too loud. I know that you're watching over us and you're in a better place. We can't wait to see you again.
Okay, next I would like to invite Sal and Ira from the Archangels of Justice, and they can tell you a little bit more about themselves as well.
I'm Sal Mastrelli with the Archangels of Justice, and please hang on to this, because there's some names on here that you need to have. They're extremely important for you to succeed in getting this justice for Pravin. I was a police officer for 25 years in Florida, not here in Illinois. When I retired, I started a private investigations business and started investigating cases for clients. Turned out a lot of them turned out to have problems with police officers and misconduct in Florida and then around my local area. Ira is from Wisconsin, and he'll tell you about himself, but at some point we got together with some of the cases I was working on connected to him. And as we continued to work, we found nationwide cases of misconduct and injustice. And Pravin's case struck us so strongly because we had so many others like his case where police intervention failed. And when I say they failed at the beginning of Pravin's case. When that police officer, that state trooper, Chris Martin, stopped behind Gage Bethune's truck, his gut told him something was wrong. That's what we do as police officers. Something's wrong. My job is to stop and find out what it is. He stopped. And Gage Bethune came up from behind the patrol car, as you could see in the video, and talked with the trooper for a few minutes. You don't hear what's being said. I'll get to that in a little bit. At some point, you see the trooper standing on the police car, or on the side of the road next to his police car and the van and Bethune's truck, with a flashlight. And he shines the flashlight out into the woods like this. Now, I've been to this scene twice. I did it once at night. I could walk through those woods at night, just like Pravin supposedly had walked through those woods. And I did it again during the day. Now, there's no way that the officer searched those woods extensively, as the spokesperson for Illinois State Police said he did. That's not a search. That's barely a cursory look. According to the trooper's report, which he wrote a week after, he didn't even write it that night, and according to his dispatched call, all he called it was an assist to a motorist. He never told the dispatcher that he had a possible carjacking in progress, which Bethune told him had happened, that there had been a fight, and that he tried to get some money, and then that this black man ran off into the woods. As a police officer, if I heard that story, and I've queried this to every other police officer, old and new, what would your next step be? Well, we got to find this guy. If he's loose out here and he just tried to carjack this guy, who's the next victim? Well, his job would have been to call for assistance, because you can't search the woods alone. Every police department has canines today, and I know Carbondale does. When I was a deputy sheriff, we assisted the highway patrol all the time. There was less of them and a lot more of us. And in Florida, we had manhunts like this all the time. And you know what? We don't lose leaves on the trees like you do. It's like a jungle, but we didn't stop till we find those people. If this police officer had done that job, guess what? We wouldn't be having this memorial today. He'd have found Pravin, he'd have went to the hospital. Because Pravin was not conscious. I don't care what the medical examiner from Carbondale and from Indiana had to say, Mr. Cooperfer and Dr. Jacoby. I was a crime scene expert for a number of years during my career, and I've seen plenty of people beaten severely. And when I saw the pictures of Pravin from Dr. Margolis, it's turned to my stomach that the police in Carbondale and their supposed professional doctors would say there was no foul play. It was absolutely disgusting. And the cover-up has gone even further than that. We have other cases, like I had said before. Pravin's one of many. We have cases from all over the country. I can't touch on them all, but I'm going to name a few. And you can look these up on the internet. There's Sheena Morris out of Florida, Kayla Steen out of Florida, and Michelle O'Connell out of Florida. All three of those women supposedly committed suicide. Those women's cases were never properly investigated, just like Pravin's wasn't investigated. We have a couple out of Texas. Another suicide wasn't properly investigated. We have one out of Chesapeake, Virginia, of Jacqueline Renee Saunders, wasn't properly investigated. And the reason I say that, as a crime scene expert, from what I was able to get, they did not do a lot of things. And in Pravin's case, they didn't even set a crime scene up in the woods. And their story was to the family, it was private property. My answer to that is, don't you ever heard the open field doctrine? You went out there without a warrant. You went out there without permission to search for a body. You found it. 19-year-old man. That's not a crime scene. And if you're so afraid that you can't conduct the crime scene search, then get the warrant if you need it. It's a shame, and all I want to say is it's an epidemic in the United States today. Archangels of Justice only came into being after 3 years of Ira and I working together, and only in the last year did we actually formalize it. And in that short period of time, 160 cases have come to us, and we haven't reviewed them all yet. But they all reek of the same substandard police work, and reek of the same substandard cover-ups. I don't pull punches, obviously. I speak very bluntly and plainly. All of you have banded together behind this family to get them some justice, and I'm telling you today that if this country and the citizens of this country, as you all are, don't band together and reach out to your congressmen and your state representatives sitting here in every state I know we're here in Illinois today, but this needs to go around in every state. It needs to stop. There's standards in police work, there's protocol, and these officers fail repeatedly. They don't get punished, they're not held accountable, and some prosecutor covers it up, and it needs to stop today. Not only are people's cases not investigated properly and classified as suicides or accidents, we won't even get into all the cases of injustice where people are prosecuted wrongfully and evidence fabricated and police officers lying on the stand. That goes on too. And we handle those kind of cases. But the other thing I wanted to say is, Ira and I were both public servants when you paid your tax dollars to pay us to work. And we worked. And we found the bad guys, and we helped the good people that needed help. Today we're still public servants, and we do this for free. We're not charging anybody for this, because we're so disgusted with what we're seeing in law enforcement today and the cover-ups, and everybody's on being politically correct. It needs to end. And it's up to you, the American citizen, to put it at end. You have the power to vote. You have the power to put these people out of business, because all they're doing is taking a paycheck and they're not doing their job. So if anybody asks you who your congressmen are and your state representatives are, you have a list for this state. And we plan on doing this in every state that we go to. And we're on the run going to be doing just that. Thank you very much.
Hi everyone, and especially our new family, the Vergheses. Today, just 2 days after the first anniversary of Pravin's death, we are here and we weep. The pain his family has endured is unimaginable and has hurt them to their very core. To have your beautiful child taken away is something everyone should never experience. There is absolutely no doubt that Pravin did not die of natural causes. He was murdered. But it appears that the Carbondale, Illinois police, the Jackson County coroner, and the state's attorney have all conspired to cover that up. That's very serious. Apparently, they want it to seem as if Carbondale is a safe place when, in reality, it isn't. And they do this to protect the enrollment of Southern Illinois University, which is central to the local economy. Lower enrollment means lower revenue, which means a decrease in the funds to run local government. And that affects the police, the coroner, and the state's attorney. My partner Sal and I have more than 82 years combined investigative experience. We are both former police officers, military veterans, and believe in America. We are aware that sometimes people are elected or appointed to positions they are not qualified nor have the moral compass to hold. Those people only protect and serve themselves and fail to protect and serve us. Throughout the years, many have given their lives for us to enjoy a great system of government, and we are both unwilling to give that up to unethical people who put their own interests first. Now we want the entire world to remember Pravin Verghese, and in his honor, we seek change. In my opinion, Jackson County State's Attorney Michael Carr has conspired with the Carbondale police to cover up his murder by pretending the false evidence he has received from the police and medical examiner is not true, even when he knows that it's false. By not questioning the many witnesses he has been made aware of and who have very important information concerning the actual murder, and by actively obstructing and attempting to assassinate the character of anyone seeking the truth. In my opinion, Carr has conspired with the Jackson County coroner and the independent pathologist to falsify the causes of death of Pravin Verghese. The official death certificate states the cause of death was an accident. That is an absolute lie, and Carr knows it is. Anyone with or without medical experience or training could plainly see that Pravin had been beaten, and severely. There was absolutely no doubt about that. We have seen the photographs and we have looked at the evidence. Excuse me. But Carr has closed Pravin's case without even interviewing important witnesses who have very good information about the murderer. And it appears that he lied when he claimed there was a pending investigation in order to withhold documents and reports that Pravin's family had requested and according to the law were entitled to receive. Only now, a year after Pravin's death, and since Archangels of Justice has been reporting Carr's improper conduct, has he finally decided to release Pravin's reports to his family. In a letter he wrote to the Attorney General, he promised those reports would soon be available, and he blamed the delay on the Verghese family attorney. Carr insinuated that Pravin's mother, Lovely, didn't know what she was talking about when she pushed him for answers about his refusal to thoroughly investigate her son's death. In another murder he calls a suicide, he threatened the victim's father by stating he was going to close the case because that father was questioning Carr's refusal to interview critical witnesses about the destruction of important evidence by Carbondale police personnel. And 2 weeks later he did close the case. Then he had the gall to call the victim's elderly grandmother a liar. At the same time he was making false statements to the media, lying to the Verghese family, their family attorneys, misleading the state attorney and the public. Now, because of Carr's refusal to admit that Pravin and other obvious victims were murdered, and apparently directing these cover-ups in both of the cases, the killers are free to walk the streets in Carbondale. And the families that send their children to Southern Illinois University at Carbondale are unknowingly putting them in harm's way. How many more of our precious children will be killed? How do we stop it from happening? Officials must begin by calling a murder, not a suicide, and not claiming the death was a result of some other ridiculous reason. They must conduct real investigations, arrest and prosecute the killers, and be honest and open with the public. Wouldn't that be refreshing? To not only make everyone feel safer, but actually make them safer. We must now take every action we can to ensure the public is safe when our local government fails to do so. We can do that by making our voices heard. Contact radio and television stations and print media. Write letters and call anyone you think could help. That includes your state and federal congressperson or senator, the FBI, the United States Attorney in Washington, D.C., but do not call the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of Illinois. He and State's Attorney Carr are good friends, and he never even returned Lovely Verghese's call as he told her he would more than 6 months ago. People who may be called upon on jury duty in Jackson County, Illinois can also make a statement, and I hope they can hear me. Before a trial, prospective jurors are questioned by the judge and attorneys to determine if they have any bias and cannot deal with the issues fairly. In that process, you must tell the truth. If you honestly believe the state attorney Carr may be unethical, or may be dishonest, or may lie to cover up the truth in order to obtain a conviction, then you must tell the judge that you are biased and cannot reach a decision in behalf of the state of Illinois or Jackson County. That carries down to cases prosecuted by Carr's assistant state's attorneys also. Tell the judge that you would gladly sit on a jury that doesn't involve the state or the county. That would effectively shut down the state attorney's office and send a message that is loud and clear. And here's my message for Illinois Governor Bruce Rauner. In my opinion, there is overwhelming evidence that Jackson County State Attorney Carr is unethical, is dishonest, is a liar, and is a criminal. His conduct significantly reduces the credibility of the criminal justice system in Illinois. Upon request, Archangels of Justice will gladly present the proof of those allegations to a special prosecutor from your office. We will not provide any information to State Attorney General Lisa Madigan or anyone working under her office. Carr is one of her political supporters, and she is in a conflict of interest position and could be called as a witness against him because he submitted false communications to her office. At the top of your own governor's website for everyone to plainly see is the following statement And I quote, Article 5, Section 8 of the Illinois Constitution states, the governor shall have the supreme executive power and shall be responsible for the faithful execution of the laws. The purpose of the office is to ensure proper execution of the law in Illinois. That's what it says at the top of your website, Governor. Now all eyes are upon you, especially those people in Illinois that supported you for election, believing that you would cause change for the better. So in our opinion, here is what you must do. Number 1, appoint a special prosecutor to review any and all evidence concerning State Attorney Carr's alleged criminal conduct. Number 2, pending an honest and fair assessment of his misconduct, commence an action to suspend Carr from office. Number 3, once the allegations are proven, and they will be, seek an indictment against Carr. And number 4, then if necessary, initiate an impeachment proceeding to permanently remove him from office. Thank you very much.
Next, we'll have former Lieutenant Governor Mrs. Sheila Simon come up and share a few words.
Thank you. It is a real pleasure to be back here again, which is odd to say, but it is a pleasure to be back here. Last time, a year ago, it was so difficult for everyone, and all we could focus on was the tragedy. And I think thanks to many of your words here, we can start the process of remembering some of the very positive things that Pravin brought to two communities, a community here and a community in Carbondale. And my husband and I are here representing those of us who have had a loss in Carbondale, who have been really moved by this. So I'm pleased to be here, and I'm pleased to hear both of the choirs. I love both of the choirs, and thank you to the English choir. Yes, exactly. I love the message of the English choir, who said they'll know we're Christians by our love. And I think, lovely, that was Pravin's favorite song. Doesn't that make sense? I know you and your extended family are known by your love, and your love is what drives you to do something positive out of this tragedy, and I hope that you will continue to be known for your love. Thank you very much.
I'd like to invite Mr. Scott Litzow, representing Congressman Bob Dole.
Hello everyone, my name is Scott Litzow and I am the district representative for Congressman Bob Dole's office. Congressman Dole sent me out here today. We were notified by Alderman Brookman about this situation, and we looked into it, and the representative sent me out here today to do what we do best, and that is listen. And I just want to say how encouraging it is to see so many people from the community out here today. It is through your efforts that keep Pravin's message alive and keep his legacy going. And the hard work that you guys do will pay off, and as you can see, the traction is starting to build now. And you know, as representative, it is our job to listen. And I just want to let you know that on behalf of Congressman Dole's office, after today and reading about this, we hear you. And we would love to work with the family and work with everybody here to see what we can do to help. And I just want to let you know that we are open to any comments, concerns, or questions that you have, and we would love it if you reached out to our office with any of that, and I would love to sit down and we'll meet with you guys. And like I said, we're here for you, and thank you for inviting us, and hopefully we could be of assistance.
Next, we'll have our Morton Grove Mayor, Mr. Dan DeMaria, share a few words.
First, I'm honored that they invited me, and I just want to talk a little bit about what a village and a community is. You know, we're all family. Villages are families, and it's very important, and we lost a family member. And Carbondale and Morton Grove are about the same size. They have 3,000 more people. But I know, as being mayor, what I've learned in 2 years is that when something like this happens and a resident comes to you and says, Mayor, X, Y, or Z, help me, you help them. That's why we're here. That's why we get elected. I don't do this for the money. We don't make money doing this. It's a volunteer position, basically. The point I'm trying to make is that you help and serve when a family member is down, and I'm urging the Carbondale community officials, leaders, to keep the pressure on. That's what you guys have to do. I think my message for you all here today is beyond this room, is keep the message going. You cannot let this die. And the more pressure you put on, the more truth will prevail. And then Pravin can rest in peace. Lovely and her family can get some peace. And our village will rest. But until that time, I'm not resting. These people aren't resting. We're not resting, and that's the message we have to get out. We are not resting until we can have him rest in peace. Thank
you. Next, we have Alderman Mr. Jim Brookman.
Thank you. My name is Jim Brookman. I'm an alderman from the city of Des Plaines, as you know. I wasn't sent here by the city of Des Plaines. I came here on my own as a friend of the family and as a friend of Matthew Abraham, who told me about this incident right after it happened, and I became involved at that time. I've been here before on happier occasions, like your building expansion, events like that, which I enjoyed. This is not nearly as happy, but it's very important. I want to go over a couple of things that some of you already know and have already been said, but I think they're important. It's been a year now since Pravin's death in Southern Illinois. He was attending a college at a state university. Now, when we send our young people to any college in this state, they should be safe from harm. But if they do encounter trouble and harm, we trusted authorities and law enforcement and rescue services to intervene. After a year's time, the family has received few answers. And the answers they have received are suspect. They were told that Pravin died of hypothermia after getting lost in the woods. The state trooper on the scene talked to the driver of the vehicle Pravin was riding in. The driver was not held for questioning. The trooper did not report the details of his contact with that driver. And the trooper did not call for a search of the area, which may very well have saved Pravin's life. There's also early reports that Pravin may have been drinking and that maybe he got lost in the woods and unable to call for that reason. The toxicology reports prove those claims to be false. The initial autopsy report said that hypothermia was the cause of death with no evidence of foul play. Yet a second autopsy commissioned by the family found obvious blunt injuries to the head. Serious head injuries would explain why Pravin did not get out of the woods. After a year's time investigating this tragic incident, the state's attorney has not convened a grand jury to review the evidence and determine if charges should be brought against the man last in contact with Pravin. Why? Why does it take a year to get answers? And why are there no answers yet? In a year's time, we should be much closer to the truth of what happened on the night Pravin died. Pravin's mother tells me that the state's attorney stated that he did not intend to bring charges against anyone because he did not want to ruin another life. That is a very strange comment. Pravin's life was not just ruined. It was, it was ended. And it seems clear from the evidence, or from what we have been able to find out, that it ended in a violent and tragic manner. No one else's life will be ruined if the accused are innocent. But if someone is guilty of a crime in the death of Pravin, should that person escape accountability because it would be inconvenient for them? That is not acceptable. Excuse me. If the criminal justice system does not work for Pravin and his family, it does not work for any of us. How can we have faith and confidence in a system that stonewalls a victim's family by refusing to vigorously pursue the truth or hide that truth from the family and the public? It is not the job of the state's attorney to protect the guilty from prosecution. It is the job of the state's attorney to find the truth and bring charges against anyone responsible for a crime, especially if that crime leads to the death of an innocent victim. After a year, perhaps it is time to realize that time itself is not the problem. The real problem may be a lack of will, a lack of desire to find the truth. We need to have confidence in the criminal justice system in this state. What happens to Pravin's family really happens to all of us. The family wants and deserves answers, and not just answers that appease or simply offer sympathy. They want and deserve the truth. And the truth can be found if it is pursued with determination and integrity. As of today, the truth of what really happened to Pravin a year ago has not come forth from the authorities responsible for the investigation. The many questions of the family have yet to be answered. And this is not about partisan politics at all. People here are representing various groups, and I trust that all the elected officials are here today will work tirelessly to help the family of Pravin to find the truth they are seeking and they deserve. What happened to Pravin must never happen again.
Before I invite the next speaker up, I'd just like to remind you guys that the envelopes that were given, they're donations for Archangels of Justice. Like Sal and Ira said, they do their work for free, so if you guys could just donate, that would be great. Thank you. And I'd also like to invite Josina Morita, who is representing Alderman Amaya Power.
Good evening. My name is Josina Morita. I'm here on behalf of Alderman Amaya Pawar. He sends his apologies. He couldn't be here today. It's his mom's birthday. He wants to let the family know, everybody here know, that he stands with Justice for Pravin. This March, he wanted me to announce that he will be introducing a resolution in the City Council for Justice for Pravin. He knows it's the beginning, just a first step, but he wants to show his support for the City of Chicago. And invite all of you, the family, everyone here who stands for Justice for Pravin, to join him at the City Council when he makes this resolution. He knows it's the beginning, and he commits to being here through the end until there is truly justice for your son.
Next, I'd like to invite Illinois State Representative Lou Lang.
Thank you. Good afternoon. In my 27 years as a state representative, I've met many families. Some have happy lives, some have gone through tragedies, as everyone in this room has. I want to tell you that I have never seen a family with more guts and determination to see to something to the end as this family. Of course, out of this tragedy, this family lost a son, a brother, a cousin. But the state of Illinois has lost as well. We've lost a valuable human being, and we've lost our way. Out of this tragedy, however, there's a positive. Look around the room. A community of people who understand that justice in our state must always be pursued to the end, whether you're an elected official or whether you're a private citizen. The justice we seek is not just for Pravin, although he surely deserves that justice, and it's not just for the family, although certainly the family deserves that justice. It's for all of us, not just in this room, but for 13 million people that live in the state of Illinois and hundreds of millions of people that live in the United States of America. What kind of a state and what kind of a country do we have when we cannot trust our criminal justice system to give us answers? Certainly, there are cases that cannot be solved. And certainly there are cases with tragic ends with no answers for any of us. And perhaps this will be one of those cases. But no one in this room knows. The police in Carbondale do not know. The state's attorney of Jackson County does not know. The coroner does not know. But until they seek the truth, until they attempt to get the answers, and until they pursue their responsibilities under the law, we will not have justice. We will not have truth. It's important that we're all here today, not just to support the family, but to support what's right. And so there's a lesson here for all of us, not just as it relates to this family and just as it relates to Pravin and just as it relates to this case, but to always be vigilant about what's right. To not just be vigilant about it when it involves someone in your community or someone in your neighborhood or someone of your race or someone of your religion, but justice denied one person is justice denied for all of us. And so I thank you all for being here. And as you leave this room and as you go on with your daily lives, remember that we all have a responsibility to each other to do what's right to make this a much better place to live. To the family, I salute you, and you have my word that whatever I can do, I will be there for you. Thank you.
Next, I invite Miss Angela Abermite, and she was Pravin's drama teacher in junior high.
And your drama teacher, and all these kids' drama teachers. Thank you so much for having me. I'm absolutely honored to speak on behalf of Pravin. I'm Angie Abermite. I'm obviously his former drama teacher, and it's amazing how much my students teach me. Pravin officially received the award of the most energetic and most humorous student that I probably ever had in my entire career. We would be in drama club, and Zoom, he would be everywhere, so energetic, making a new friend, talking really, really fast, and probably making somebody laugh. He was incredibly brave. He was super talented, and he went out of his way just to make people smile. There was an instance that I recall when we were doing the musical Annie, and his scene partner was really nervous. She didn't want to dance, she didn't want to hold his hand or anything along those lines. And he was like, "Come on, you'll be fine, you'll be great, I'll hold your hand the whole time." Literally, I had to make them hold hands the whole time, which I don't think he minded. But anyway, she's like, okay, I'll give it a try. He's like, "Come on, you never know unless you try." So that's just one anecdote where I know he definitely made a difference in somebody's life, and in my life too. They had a great performance that night. They did amazing, and so did she. He was definitely encouraging her with his bright eyes and big smile, like, if you know him, you can think of it right now. It's been said that when one door closes, another one opens. It's in the memory of my beloved student that Lincoln Junior High is able to honor another. It's through the generosity of the Pravin family, the Varghese family, that we are able to honor another student with a drama scholarship from Lincoln Junior High, and I cannot thank them enough through the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much. I think Pravin had a true creative spirit. He was a master of the arts. He was unselfish, and he has showed great camaraderie. Unfortunately, his time here with us was very short, but in the time that he had here, he made positive influences on anybody that he encountered and anybody that he was fortunate enough to spend time with. I was lucky enough to be his teacher and spend a lot of time with him and have some wonderful memories with him. We will continue to pray for you, and we will continue to support you in any way, shape, or form that we can at Lincoln Junior High, and I'm sure at all the schools. Thank you so much, everybody.
Now, I think from the back, I'd like to invite Miss Leta Kaleo. Oh, there she is. You made your way up.
Sure, cool. Just do it. Yeah.
Good evening. An incredible amount of show of support, and I think this is a testimony of thanks to lovely Matthew, Priya, and Preeti Varghese, the whole family. It is just amazing, and my heart really goes out to you. A year ago when we stood here and we talked about this, it's amazing what you've been able to accomplish. In early December, you probably all heard there was a 23-year-old student at Loyola University who was just actually walking to class, a pre-med student, Mutahir Rahif. He was killed senselessly. And last week, another 3 students were killed in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. So the question here is that I know that there is a lot that needs to be done in order to get justice, and we'll continue to help towards that realm. But there's the other side of it, is that as our students are getting ready to go to college, what can we do? And I know that the Marthoma Church here, the Sierra Malabar Church here, and the Achama, with their guidance, there's a lot that is being done to help our students. But at the same time, I know that I hear from parents who are just so terribly, terribly worried that as their students go away to college, how can we prepare them so that something like this doesn't happen to them? And I know that there's a lot of work that's being done, but I want to tell you, as someone who was born here and brought up here and has gone through the public school system, that I am willing at any time and anywhere to help in the event you need to talk, or if you need me to talk to kids or whatever. I'm happy to do that. Having been brought up and trying to navigate the 2 different cultures, I think it's something that we need to do. So I am, happy to help in any way. And again, your leadership and what you've been able to accomplish is just really quite amazing. Thank you for that. I think we owe you a gratitude.
Next, I invite Mr. Raja Krishnamurthy to share a few words.
Thank you very much for including me today. The Varghese family, again, no words can describe the grief and the pain that we all feel at this time, again, as we remember Pravin's life and celebrate all the good memories, but miss him so dearly. I have 3 observations about today that I wanted to share with you. First is that I cannot believe how many people have come to this event today. And there's an old saying that the quality of a life well lived is whether your funeral is standing room only. And today, not only is it standing room only, there's no place to park, and there's hardly any place to not hear the overwhelming message that comes from this church today, which is unity. Today, the Varghese family has not just 4 people in the immediate family, it has 500 people in the Varghese family. The Chicago Marthoma Church doesn't just have 500 people, it has 50,000 people. And not only are there 10 or 15 members of the Varghese and Pravin Action Network, we are all part of the Pravin Action Network. And so that's my first observation. The second one is, you see all of us at this table, we have all come here in a show of solidarity with your family. But now you need to reach out to us on a periodic basis, giving us an update on how the case is proceeding. And I believe each and every one of us will do everything in our power to make sure action comes out of this day. I was shocked by what I heard today. I was absolutely shocked. Serious questions have been raised about this case, and serious answers are deserved. And you deserve that, Matthew and Lovely. And we will do everything in our power, and I will do everything in my power to help you in that quest. The third observation I have is that the mother of Pravin Varghese is named Lovely. And I cannot think of a more appropriate or fitting name to describe the mother of such a wonderful man who graced the earth. And your presence here strikes me as the height of love. And so we are going to do everything to live up to your name. And you should call upon us whenever you need us for anything. So with that, I just say that Pravin, to quote another saying, escape the surly bonds of earth to touch